Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Golden Bachelorette. I don't think Joan Vassos will leave Maryland amid signs she might move to Kansas for Chalk Chapel. While The Golden Bachelorette stars Joan Vassos and Chalk Chapel will do almost anything for the relationship, neither is willing to move from their hometowns. Joan and Chalk met through the dating competition, with their shared humor, values, and romantic histories evident on their first date. This magical Disneyland trip confirmed their chemistry and ultimately secured Chalk's front-running status. In the finale of The Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Joan awarded Chalk the final rose, and the insurance executive proposed. The couple has been enjoying their engagement period and residual fame. Among travels for professional opportunities, Joan and Chalk continuously visit one another. The pair spend holidays together, including Thanksgiving and Christmas, but have yet to establish a home base. As the pair explore their options, namely a shared apartment in New York, it becomes increasingly clear that Joan will not uproot her life to move to Chalk's Kansas hometown. Joan wouldn't want to leave her friends, family, and connections. Both parties have been vocal about the significance of family in their lives. Subsequently, neither Joan nor Chalk wanted to leave their hometowns. Joan had been the most hesitant about relocating, considering her mom's condition. Joan is concerned regarding her mother's health and wouldn't stray far from home. Mary is a resident of Leisure World of Maryland, an adult living facility in Montgomery County, Maryland, as indicated in a post on their Facebook page. In this post, Mary and several other residents gathered to watch Joan star in the popular series. Her mother appears to be a major support in Joan's life, and she will continue to prioritize her well-being. The star commented on the show. Even if she were willing to step away from her family for an extended period, Joan would prefer New York. The star has had her sights set on the big city since she and Chalk started talking about a potential apartment. Joan and Chalk started house hunting in late November and decided on Soho, New York. This city apartment would allow her and Chalk privacy without putting too much distance between her and Maryland. While Chalk has roots in Kansas, Joan would be leaving behind a well-established life in Maryland. If Joan were to move on behalf of the relationship, she would be creating a substantial distance between her and her support system. A relationship, even with Chalk, will not sway Joan's convictions. Joan's strong core values bode well for their relationship, but Joan may not uproot her life for Chalk. She has so many reasons, primarily regarding her proximity to family, for staying in Maryland. The Golden Bachelorette's leading lady may find herself traveling more often than initially planned. Joan Vassos may have handed out her final rose on The Golden Bachelorette, but the question on everyone's mind now is, will she leave Maryland for love? Since the show's finale, rumors have been swirling that Joan might relocate to Kansas to be with Chalk Chapel, the charming Midwestern gentleman who won her heart. But despite the speculation, I don't think Joan Vassos is going anywhere. Maryland is more than just her home. It's her foundation, her family's heart, and her comfort zone. And for Joan, love may be grand, but uprooting her life, that's another story entirely. From the start, Joan's journey on The Golden Bachelorette was about finding love after loss, a second chance at companionship. Chalk embodied everything she was looking for: a kind-hearted, patient, and steadfast man who could offer her a love story she thought was behind her. Yet if you watched Joan throughout the season, you'd notice something telling. Time and again, she spoke of the deep connections she had back home in Maryland. Her children, her grandchildren, her late husband's memory, and the life she built in the Chesapeake Bay region. Leaving that behind is no simple decision, even for love. One of the biggest hurdles to Joan's potential move is her family. She has always been open about her devotion to her children and grandchildren, and if there was one common theme in her journey, it was that family comes first. Before The Golden Bachelorette, Joan even left The Bachelor early because her daughter needed her. That maternal instinct doesn't fade just because romance comes knocking. Maryland is where she has spent decades building her life, watching her children grow, and supporting them through challenges. The idea of leaving that for Kansas, a place she's only known through whirlwind reality TV dates, feels unlikely at best. Then there's the reality of Kansas itself. While Chalk undoubtedly offers a wonderful life, the cultural shift from Maryland to the Midwest is substantial. Joan's world revolves around the Chesapeake Bay, East Coast charm, and close proximity to major cities like Washington, D.C. Kansas, on the other hand, moves at a different pace. The flatlands and wide-open spaces of the Midwest may be beautiful, but there is stark contrast to the waterfront views and vibrant, historical atmosphere of Maryland. Joan is a woman who thrives in familiarity, and Kansas is anything but that. Let's not forget Joan's career and social ties. While she may be retired, her social circle, her lifelong friendships, and her community engagement are deeply rooted in Maryland. Moving to Kansas would mean starting over in ways that extend far beyond just her relationship with Chalk. For a woman in her 60s, relocating isn't just a logistical challenge, it's an emotional one. Leaving behind the town she knows, the doctors she trusts, the favorite local spots where she's made memories over the years, it all matters. And while Chalk might promise love and stability, does that outweigh everything she's built over a lifetime? Even more telling is how Joan has been handling post-show interviews. While she has expressed deep admiration and affection for Chalk, she has been noticeably vague about any big moves. If she were truly considering leaving Maryland, wouldn't she have hinted at it more openly? Instead, she continues to emphasize her love for her grandkids and how important it is to be close to them. That doesn't sound like someone eager to pack her bags for Kansas. Of course, love requires compromise, and Joan and Chalk could certainly find a middle ground. Perhaps Chalk will spend part of the year in Maryland. Maybe they'll travel back and forth, but permanently leaving Maryland? It just doesn't seem likely. Joan's heart may belong to Chalk, but her roots are planted firmly in Maryland soil. The reality is that, at this stage in life, love isn't just about butterflies and romance. It's about practicality. It's about what makes sense for the long haul. Joan has built an entire world in Maryland, and at this point, that world is non-negotiable. Kansas may be where Chalk is, but Maryland is where Joan truly belongs. So while fans might dream of a fairy tale ending where Joan rides off into the Kansas sunset with Chalk, the real story is probably much more grounded. Joan Vassos has already found love once in her lifetime, and she knows that love isn't just about choosing a partner. It's about choosing a life, and that life, for her, is in Maryland. Let's not forget Joan's career and social ties. While she may be retired, her social circle, her lifelong friendships, and her community engagement are deeply rooted in Maryland. Moving to Kansas would mean starting over in ways that extend far beyond just her relationship with Chalk. For a woman in her 60s, relocating isn't just a logistical challenge, it's an emotional one. Leaving behind the town she knows, the doctors she trusts, the favorite local spots where she's made memories over the years, it all matters. And while Chalk might promise love and stability, does that outweigh everything she's built over a lifetime? The reality is that, at this stage in life, love isn't just about butterflies and romance. It's about practicality. It's about what makes sense for the long haul. Joan has built an entire world in Maryland, and at this point, that world is non-negotiable. Kansas may be where Chalk is, but Maryland is where Joan truly belongs. So while fans might dream of a fairy tale ending where Joan rides off into the Kansas sunset with Chalk, the real story is probably much more grounded. Joan Vassos has already found love once in her lifetime, and she knows that love isn't just about choosing a partner. It's about choosing a life. And that life, for her, is in Maryland.